Never give up. Um, Try not to get emotional. Um, Persons will say to you, "Oh, you're not going to make it." I had a teacher that said to me when she found out I was pregnant with my first son, "Oh, you've ruined your life now. You're never going to make it."
Self-discipline enables consistent effort, goal setting, and the ability to overcome challenges. All success begins with self-discipline. It starts with you. Without self-discipline, success is impossible. Hello and welcome back to Unlocking You podcast. On Unlocking You podcast, we chat, we share, we empower, we uplift, and we motivate. This is a safe space where you can open and share from the depth of your experiences with our audience. Today, we chat and share on the topic, discipline your way to success. Stay persistent until you reach your goal. On today's episode, we have a brilliant, focus-driven, and beautiful young woman. She hails from the Caribbean island of Turks and Caicos. I am fascinated by her journey, and I know you will also. Welcome to Unlocking You podcast, Jamieka. I am going to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, thank you, Sharissa, for inviting me to be a guest on your podcast. I know we had this in the books for quite some time, but because of scheduling, we were unable to do so. Well, as you said, my name is Jamieka Russell. I am originally from the Turks and Caicos Islands in the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. I have been in the UK for about 4 years now, and I am a law student. I am also a legal executive with a telecoms company here in the UK.
Okay, thank you for that introduction, Jamieka. Now, so there are a few questions I want to ask you today to dive into our topic, which Our topic is discipline your way to success. Stay persistent until you reach your goal. This speaks volume to your journey thus far. I have an insight, but I want you to give an insight to others as well.
Okay. Moving to a new country, as you know, is not easy. Having to work a full-time job after your anticipated funding has failed, you now have to go into the workforce and find a job to sustain you while you're trying to do your studies. It has not been an easy journey. When I first moved to the UK, I moved to Preston because it was feasible to live in Preston. My university is in Preston. And however, I found a job in Manchester.
Right.
So having to commute, work 5 days a week, go to school for 2 days, not a day off. It was a really tough road for the first year of me being here. However, I came here with a determination. See, I am a teenage mother. I became pregnant with my son when I was 16, had him at 17, and put my career aspirations aside to raise my family, to raise my kids. And my daughter, once she decided where she wanted to go to college, I then saw the opportunity to take up my legal career again. I have been previously working before moving to the UK in the legal field, and it's something that I've grown a passion for. And one thing that I've learned with this industry, you have to love it.
Yes.
You have to love it. If you don't have a passion for it, it will eat you up. Yes. So I would say my determination to succeed having tunnel vision, and just great support from family and friends.
Right. Um, you've said something that I had to take a note of, that you were a teenage mother and life was hard. The journey was hard. Now, the question I want to ask, do you think that going through being a teenage mother, that it has equipped you for the struggles and also with the self-discipline that you are going through with your journey now?
I would say it has, Sharissa. I couldn't let the fact that I got pregnant at an early age deter me. I had to show my children that whatever you want to be in life, you can be it once you work hard at it. And that is something that I kept on. A lot of persons from my country, when they get pregnant at such an early age, they see their life as over. And I was determined not to be one of them. After having my son, I went on to finish my education. I went on to business school and got my degree in business as well. So I would say the struggles that I've had in my early life definitely prepared me for moving to a new country, barely knowing anyone, and having to fight so hard to keep up with my studies and my career.
Yeah. Along with balancing work, balancing family.
Yes, yes. Well, when we came here, my daughter was in college.
Right.
So I had to go to work, go to school, make sure she was straight, make sure dinner was cooked, all of that, make sure the house was kept, and still go in the library till 5, 6 o'clock in the morning.
I know the struggle is real, and still being consistent and disciplined
Yes.
towards achieving your goal.
Yes.
Would you say that you felt at any point in time that your goals are being set back because of your priorities in terms of your children? And did you ever felt like you would never start your dream of becoming a barrister? I am saying it in the open now.
I would say there were days then I said, yeah, there were days that first moving here and finding out that the funding that I was hoping to get fell through.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm a person that always has a backup plan.
Right.
So there were times that, yeah, having to not go to a few lectures so that I can cover work to make the funds that I needed. I was just like, yeah, wow, this is a lot.
Yeah, as I'm going to repeat it again, the struggle is real.
Yes,
But
definitely.
Yeah, but I admired that you stayed persistent.
I did. Yeah, I was determined to reach the ultimate goal and not only get my degree, but do things outside of my degree. So I was fortunate enough. I made networking connections where I took part in a mediation competition here in the UK, where our university went up against 17 schools and our university came third place.
Wow, that's good.
And because of how well we did, we were given the opportunity to do a mediation training course for free.
Right.
And now I am a international civil and commercial mediator.
I was about to announce that you are a certified international mediator also.
Yes.
It is amazing that you achieve all of this in a time when you basically felt like your back was against the wall because of so many things you had to juggle. And at that time, you still had to juggle both your children, your family, your work, and your studies. And at the same time, you are achieving success throughout that period.
Yes,
that is amazing. And I must commend you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've always admired your willpower and your strength, because to me, it's like you said to yourself, I have to achieve this goal. It doesn't matter if it takes me 10 years, 5 years. it must be done.
Yeah, I always said, God has brought me this far. There was a point in 2016 where I became gravely ill, and I didn't think I would make it. And the aspirations of becoming a barrister started to slip away at that point. But God is a big God, and
Yeah.
He brought me here. And I am getting ready to start my bar course in September.
Amen. God
Yeah.
is great.
I have done 3 qualifying sessions already. I'm a part of the Honorable Society of Inner Temple.
Mhm.
So, the opportunities have been vast,
Right.
and I'm very grateful for them. In this industry, as you know, networking is key.
It is.
Networking is key. If you don't go to, you have to sacrifice. If you don't go to these events, you're not going to get noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't get the result that
Exactly.
require. And I always say that law is a jealous mistress. It takes all of your time.
It does.
It does. And I need to invite you back on this podcast for us to have a chat about the different type of legal routes in the UK that people can access. And
Yes.
that will be for another podcast.
Yeah.
Now, my next question I want to ask you, I know you have mentioned about, the struggles, etc., but I want you to go a bit more in depth into what are the challenges that you faced while trying to be persistent towards your goals.
I would say the biggest challenge I face is financial struggles. And luckily, that has turned around in the past few months. As you know, because I haven't started my bar course as yet, I didn't qualify for such funding to go to my qualifying session. So all of those have to be funded out of pocket. The events that I go to are funded out of pocket. And so that was one of my struggles. And, I would say, wow, I've got to go to London. I've got to spend the night because the sessions are in the evening.
Yeah.
How am I going to do this? But the way always seems to come clear.
Yeah.
And God always comes through, and I am there. I have, like I said, I've done 3 qualifying sessions already. And, a lot of my classmates have not even done one. So, I feel very fortunate.
Yes.
And those are one of the struggles. The next struggle I would say is being able to balance. I have a very demanding job.
Right.
I am the complaints manager, as well as I deal with the legal work for the telecoms company that I'm with. And it's not easy having to balance uni, doing my events in London, and working, because it's just me. There's someone asked me the other day, so if you're not in the office, who does your work? I'm like, nobody.
Yeah.
I have to do it.
Yeah.
It's just me, but I am grateful for an amazing employer.
Good.
He's very flexible with me when I have to last minute go to London or go to Manchester for an event or do a law clinic at uni, and it keeps it less stress. I would say.
Yeah, less stress. And God has been putting all these people in your corner.
Yeah, definitely.
Along this journey. What would you say is your driving force?
My children. I want to show my children that even though I started out late, it's never too late to accomplish your goals. Mm-hmm. My son once said to me, "Oh, mommy, I only enrolled in business school after I've seen that if my mommy can do it, then I can do it too."
Yeah.
So I would say my children, just to show them that, you can have anything that you want in life.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit. I always say to them, the sky is the limit.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I've gathered from what you're saying thus far is that Throughout being persistent and being consistent, you have to have self-discipline.
You do,
If you do not have
definitely.
self-discipline, you won't be where you are today.
It definitely, because there are days when I was working in Manchester, I would get off 8 o'clock in the night when the firm closes, reach home at 10, and I have an assignment due. So I have to go in the light, catch an hour break and head into the library.
Yeah.
But you have to do it because you need the grades in order to achieve what you
Yeah.
are going after.
Yeah. And with self-discipline comes results. You
Absolutely.
have to have self-discipline throughout
You
everything.
know, when I finished my first year with a second, I was like, how did I do this?
Yeah.
Working 7 days, going to school for 2 days, in Manchester 5 days, commuting an hour away each way. How did I,
Did
how
you,
did I do it?
what did you accomplish it? Did you have a plan that you stuck to, or did you just freelance? Did you have a plan?
I really didn't have a plan in place. I know that this is what I wanted.
Okay.
I've sacrificed a lot to be here. And I'm just determined to get it done.
Right. So is it that you had self-discipline from the get-go? It
Yes.
was just a matter to have the drive, stay focused, and get
Yes.
the work done.
Yes. I came here with that discipline,
Yeah.
get the work done, get to the point. There's some days where I used to say, oh my God, am I not almost done yet?
Yeah. We all have those days. We all have those days. Sometimes we just want to get it over with. To be
I
honest.
know.
Sometimes
And I would say, Sharissa, in this industry or any industry with studying, you have to have a support system.
yes.
That's very important.
Yes, it is. What was your support system like?
My kids and mostly my best friend. There are days when I would call her crying, oh, stressed out.
Yeah.
And she's always there for me. She's always, anything I accomplished, let's go celebrate.
Yeah. That's my next question I'm going to ask you. How did you celebrate? How did you celebrate your wins? How did you celebrate when you're feeling down sometimes and you just need to take a break? What was your celebration like? How did you reward yourself?
My best friend, like I said, because she's been through the journey.
Yeah.
She's complete now. And so she knows what I'm going through. And she would say, come on, let's go for a drink, or let's have dinner, or you know what? It's a holiday. Let's take a trip somewhere. Let's unwind. Turn off all the chaos and all the craziness.
Yeah.
And she would always say, celebrate every achievement, because it was not easy getting any of them.
Yes, I agree with that. And for me, simple things matter. You don't have to have a grand celebration. Having a
Exactly.
late night, having a bottle of
Exactly.
wine, that is rewarding yourself and celebrating your achievements thus far.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a grand celebration. You just go for dinner or go for a movie.
Yes. It counts towards you feeling that you have accomplished something,
Absolutely.
and also that, being disciplined and consistent and persistent throughout your journey thus far has given you this success, and you need to celebrate it.
When I got my offer to bar school,
Yeah.
I shared it with 2 or 3 of my lecturers who have been very instrumental. And they were, just to hear them say, I'm proud of you. You did it. We know it was not easy
Yeah.
getting here, but you did it and you're going to do amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you need that tap on your back.
Definitely.
To you, they're proud of you. It is so powerful that someone can say that to you. It means that that person would have watched your journey all along.
Yep. Yes,
The work that
absolutely.
you've put in, and now you're reaping the success.
Absolutely. I would have one of my lecturers, they would reach out to me like, oh, this is happening. Would you like to be a part of it? Giving me the opportunities to put everything into practice, not only just the theory part, but the practical part of it as well. And like I said, it goes back to networking. I went to an event in November, an event in London, and I met this family court judge. And, through us talking, she said to me, you know what? Why don't you come and marshal for me one day? And I was like, okay. And I did that in January.
Right.
And, it was really good. I went in, it was a trial that was going on. So I went in at the perfect time.
Yeah.
And, to have a judge of her caliber just sit with me and ask my views on a case, tell me what the case is about, marshalling programs in the UK, you have to apply for this. And here I was getting a personal invite from a senior judge.
Yeah, that's marvelous. That's awesome.
Yep. It was really great.
Long before they can get acceptance.
Exactly. So, and to have that open invitation for her to say, we'll come back anytime, that's really great. Things like that make the struggles, make the days when you feel like giving up, give you that boost to keep fighting.
Yes, gives you that drive. And it shows you that what you're doing is working.
Exactly.
You're being selfless. You're putting yourself aside to achieve this goal. Nights when you should be sleeping, you're up working. You're thinking about, you're on the train going to London, you're driving to London, then you're back into Manchester, back into Preston. It put everything into perspective that you're not doing it in vain.
Exactly.
There. And these small niches are really, really important. Mm-hmm. Things like this where you had to apply and then you wait long periods before you get acceptance, like this.
Exactly. Yeah, because when you start, one thing I've learned, once you work along with somebody, they introduce you to somebody else.
Yes.
And somebody else and somebody, and that's how you get going.
Yes. And not only that, but even if you're networking and you're introduced, that person must feel your vibe.
Yes, definitely.
That person must realize she's been working hard to get where she is today. I am going to give her that extra boost.
Yes.
They would recognize your hard work.
Yes.
It does not go unnoticed at all.
Yes.
And that's where self-discipline stepped in, because you can have motivation, it's just feelings.
Exactly. You have to put in the work.
You have to put in the work, and you have to be disciplined with the work. Tonight, you're tired, you want to sleep, but you have an assignment to do. Which one would you choose?
Got to go in the library, got to get the assignment done.
And that's because you're disciplined enough to get it done.
Yeah.
So it goes a long, long way.
It does.
Now, I want to ask you, what was the greatest lesson you've learned during this period, this journey thus far?
I would say you've got to be able to keep going when you don't want to, when you feel like giving up. You're not going to always get the perfect grade, and you can't let that knock you down. You're not always going to get, I applied for mini pupillage and I wasn't successful. And I'm like, okay, it knocked me down for a second. I'm like, okay, let me apply again. You've got to keep going. I've learned, I got to keep going, because this is something that I am passionate about. This is something that, I have decided to sacrifice years and years to do.
Yes.
So I've got to keep going. I can't let chaos and the things of life just throw me off track.
Yeah. Especially that you have triumph during your teenage mother years. And I must say that you are very strong, because I can just imagine how those years were for you. And you had to, hold your head above water and get it done and put aside your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. And now you're at this stage where you taking things back into your own hands to get what you need to get done.
Yes.
And you're saying to my audience, you're saying to us, don't give up.
Don't.
Never give up.
Never give up. You want something, go after it. If you want it bad enough, there will be a lot of closed doors. A lot of people will say no. People that you thought would have your back will fail you, but you can't let that deter you. You've got to keep going.
Failure is not final.
Failure is definitely not final.
Failure is not final. No matter what you're going through in life, there's always a way out if you do not give up. If you continue, if you be persistent, and if you have self-discipline.
Yes.
Important, because the other things are feelings, they can fade away. Motivation can fade away. I can be waiting on you to motivate me and you never motivate me and I still stay in place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I can be consistent, but then one day I feel like giving up. Then everything stays the same place. But if I have self-discipline within myself, it's like me pushing me. I'm not relying on no one else to help me to get through what I need to get through. And
the motivation that I've gotten came after I've said, well, I've achieved this. Yeah. It's not where someone would say to me, well, you keep going, you do this. Why don't you do that? No, these are things that I decided within myself, this would be good for my career.
Yeah.
So I am going to get it done. And once I get it done, then I'll share my news. And then comes the motivation.
Correct. But you did not just sit and wait on motivation.
No.
You had to discipline yourself first to
start
and get it done. And that's very, very major. Now, my next question I want to ask you, my dear, what advice can you share with others as we get into the end of this podcast? Although I do not want it to end. What advice would you share with others about how they can be more persistent and disciplined in trying to achieve their goals?
In terms of persistency, I would say don't let a closed door deter you. Mm-hmm. Don't let a no deter you. You can get 100 no's and one day you'll get a yes. So you've got to keep going. You've got to keep pressing. You've got to be persistent in what you do, because if I had just sit back and say, well, no one's going to do this to me. I'm not from here. I'm from the Caribbean. They'll probably only do it from people who are from here. No, I would have never gotten the opportunities, the open doors that I've had. I just kept going to events after events after events and talking with barristers and judges and, showing my qualities. You've got to show yourself. So showing my qualities, showing the passion that I have for this career, and in them seeing the passion, the opportunities start to come.
Yes. Yeah. And what about self-discipline? What advice would you give to others?
I would say life can get hard. Yes. Schedules can get crazy, but you've got to discipline yourself. If you set a plan and be like, okay, I'm going to do this day, or I'm going to do this way. If you're a person that does a plan, then I would say do a plan.
Yes.
Do a timetable. But for persons, whether in this industry or another industry, in order to reach the ultimate goal, you've got to be disciplined. Yeah. There are days when I come home and I'm exhausted and I just want to crash and go to bed, but I got to be up. Yeah. Take an hour break and then head into the library, especially when it's assignments time and exams are right around the corner.
It's amazing how we become an Energizer bunny. when we
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I would go in the library on assignment when it's assignment time at 10 o'clock in the night because I like to go in the library at night. It's a lot more quieter.
Yeah.
And I would leave there 6 o'clock in the morning. I have to be to work for 9.
Wow.
And my boss will go, I can see it in your face. You're tired, but how do you do it?
You're
Like,
still going.
you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. You know,
Yeah.
you've got to keep going because for a barrister, they require so much.
Yes.
Even for me to get into bar school, if you don't get a first or a second, you can't get in.
Yeah.
You know, so that pressure was on me. You know, I've got to get the grades. I've got to get the
Yeah.
grades.
You've got to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge congratulations.
Thank you.
It wasn't an easy task at all.
It was not. It was not.
Because I'm in the same legal field, I understand what it takes. And I know you couldn't have done it without God, your children, your family, your friends, and more so being self-disciplined.
Yes.
Because I'm sure you like to go to all the parties on the weekend.
I do. You know, I would go out for dinner. And I remember one time I went out for dinner and I got home about midnight. And I'm like, oh God, I've got this assignment I've got to finish. I was like, okay, I'll take it. I'll sleep for 2 hours and I'll get up and get it done. You know, yeah, you want to travel when you've got your friends saying, oh, let's go this way. And no, I can't. You know, I've got exams. I've got to study.
Yeah. And even if you go for dinner or you go for something and you know you have work to be done, it's on your mind. It's like
it's on your mind.
Because you're thinking.
I just thank God for my best friend because she would say, okay, we're going to go for dinner and then you're going to go home because I already know.
You've got other things to do.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good friend. That's a really true friend.
She is. She has been my rock in all of this. She's been with me. We've been friends for over 10 years, even before I moved here. And when I moved here, she has been
bless her.
My rock.
Bless her. That's really, really good. Sometimes you just need that one person.
Yeah.
That one person to be there for you throughout. And to give you that break when you need it. And then to know when, okay, you need to get back on track now.
Yes. She would be like, did you finish this? Did you finish your assignment? Like, yes, I did. I did.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you for watching Unlocking Your Podcast, where we chat, we share, we motivate, we empower, and we uplift. Today's topic is discipline your way to success. Stay persistent until you reach your goal. Now, as we're getting to the end of our podcast today, I am going to ask you 5 fun trivia questions.
Okay.
I know you had no idea of this coming, but it's very fun, relaxing, nothing to overthink about. Okay.
Okay.
The first question: what are the Turks and Caicos Islands known for besides beautiful beaches?
The Turks and Caicos Islands are known for we're a tourist destination. Our beautiful beaches are number one, always. But we're also known for our heritage. We are known to have our buildings. We still have buildings intact from centuries ago. And we are known for our camaraderie.
Right.
You know, we're a small country. Everybody knows everybody. And yeah, we're just known for our niceness, our kindness. And
So are you inviting everyone to come on down to
Yes, come to Turks and Caicos. Go to Turks and Caicos. It's a beautiful country. It's not cheap.
it's very expensive.
It's a very expensive. I think Turks and Caicos is
Luxury.
the most expensive country, Caribbean country.
Yeah.
We're a high-end destination, we're special.
Yeah. You won't regret it if you
won't regret it. Definitely not. Definitely.
Great. It's on my list now.
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
it has always been on my list ever since I met you. Let me rephrase it, okay?
Yes.
Always on my list. So my next question to you, right, if you were to win the Euromill tonight, what would you do with the money?
I would say pay off my student loans. Definitely not. Make sure my mom and my sister, my immediate family, especially my kids,
Yeah.
make sure my kids are set up.
Yeah.
So, in them coming up in their educational journey, they wouldn't have to, financially struggle the way I've had to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, buy a home,
Awesome.
start a business.
That's lots of use for the money.
Lots of use.
That's good. Question 3. Apart from Turks and Caicos, where you're from, of course, what is your favorite Caribbean island?
I would say I love Jamaica.
Oh,
The opportunity to go to St. Vincent as yet. Somebody hasn't invited me.
You have good friends. You have me. You have
Mikhail.
You have good friends from St. Vincent.
I do. One day I will definitely have to visit
So
there.
Question 4. Would you trade a night in the library or a night at the library for a night at the pub?
No. Honestly, no. Because the pub is not going to give me what I want. I always look at it this way. The work that you're doing now, it's going to pay off in the end.
Yes. Yes.
When I can go in the library and get my work done, I can go to the pub anytime. The pub will always be there.
Yes, correct. And the reason why I ask you this trivia question is because you have said in this podcast that many times you felt like giving up. You felt like just going to dance or going somewhere, but you had to go to the library. You chose to go to the library to get your work done, and I admire that about you. And our final question is I know you have 2 children, yeah?
3.
3 children. Who do you love the most?
Oh gosh, don't do that. I love them all equally. I love them equally. My family seems to think my daughter is my favorite, but I love them all equally. Me and my daughter, we have a different bond because she's the only daughter, and she has, whereas my sons grew up with my mom, my daughter has always been with me.
Right.
And she continues to be with me, even in her adulthood now. She still lives with me. So, I love them all equally.
You have a different bond, but you love.
I have a different bond with each of them. Yes.
Good answer. But thank you very much for answering those questions. You did very, very well.
Not a problem.
Before we wrap up today, I just want to ask you to give a special advice to teenage mothers out there who may be going through a low period in their life, maybe feeling like, they're a teenage mother and they don't think that they can still achieve their goals in life. What special advice would you give to them?
Never give up. Try not to get emotional. Persons will say to you, oh, you're not going to make it. I had a teacher that said to me when she found out I was pregnant with my first son, oh, you've ruined your life now. You're never going to make it in life. Don't let anyone tell you that. Having a child back then when I had my son, it would have been to the point where, I should have given up.
Yeah.
and just let it be, just get a normal job. However, these days are different. Never give up. Never give up. Don't ever let anyone tell you that your life is over because you've had a child.
Yeah.
Your life is just beginning. Having that child should motivate you to work harder at your goals, to push more,
Yeah.
to show that child that, yes, I've had you at this young, tender age, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to make a life for us.
Yes.
So I would say never give up. Never let anyone tell you it's the end. Because if I had listened to that teacher, I would have never been here today.
Never. Never. You might have chosen another path in life. You might have just felt like you're of no use anymore.
Exactly.
That would have been your life forever.
Yeah. I mean, that's why to have teachers, teachers have to be careful what they say to children when they're at that young, tender age. You have to be careful what you put out there because some children are not strong enough.
Yes.
Some children be like, well, if this teacher doesn't believe in me, if she believes that my life is over, then I guess my life is really over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Um, at that tender age, what you hear or what someone says to you can impact what your future is like. And as
Absolutely.
you rightfully said, not everyone is strong enough to turn that negative into a positive. And
Absolutely.
I just want to thank you so much for being on my podcast today. You have left some profound words on this show, and I'm going to just highlight two of them that you've said. One, don't let closed doors deter you. And two, keep going. Don't give up. Self discipline gets you along the way. And that is so profound and so strong. And I thank you for sharing that with us today. Without self discipline, success is impossible, period.
Absolutely.
Okay. And any final words that you want to say? I'm happy that you came onto this podcast to chat and to share with us today, Jamieka.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for giving me the platform to share my journey. And I would say my last words is keep going. No matter what you're doing in life, if you have a passion for it, keep going.
Yeah.
Because you will reach to that point where you want to get to.
Yeah. But for now, for this podcast in regards to self-discipline, from when you've started to where you are now, you have portrayed self-discipline and you still have it up to today to carry you through the rest of your life.
Yes.
Rest of your life in everything that you do, regardless if it's a career path or if it's just life in general. You have to have self-discipline. It's very, very important to success.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So thank you for being here and all the best to you.
All right. Thank you for having me. You have a wonderful evening.
Do you want to leave your social media handles in case anyone would like to follow and to subscribe to you?
I am on LinkedIn. It's Jamieka Russell. So if you type in Jamieka Russell, my LinkedIn should come up. And feel free to send me requests, ask me any questions you want to ask. Yeah. I'm always, persons have helped me to get this far. So I am always willing to help someone when they're coming up in this career.
Lovely. Thank you for that. I'll focus on today. Focus on what you can do. Focus on now. Tomorrow is tomorrow. Don't be afraid to fail along the way. Failure is part of success. There is no success without temporary failure. Ask anyone who is practicing any skill. They failed almost every day, but they learn along the way. Make habits and they will guide you. To repeat, you can't succeed in one day, but you can't make a habit of doing things every day. Without self discipline, success is impossible, period. Thank you for watching Unlocking Your Podcast, and I hope to see you in our next episode. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and turn your notification on so you will always be notified when a new video is uploaded. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.